Alright, so it is time for my March 2023 31 on 31 movie ranking. And for that, I'm going to be ranking a bunch of DC and Marvel properties, and one that technically fits into Marvel. I'll explain that when we get to that entry. Alright, before I tell you the order that I'm going to be ranking these movies in, I'm going to show you what they are. For ones that have more than one version of the movie included, be it a theatrical and an extended or something on the case, which is the case for a couple of these entries, I'll specify which version I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and show what all of them are first, and then we'll get into the ranking portion. I'm going to be including Superman the movie, the 3-hour cut, the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, Superman 3, Supergirl, this time I'm using the Blu-ray case, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition only, not the theatrical version. The theatrical version will not be included. Suicide Squad, 2016 Suicide Squad, Justice League theatrical cut, Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 2, 1984, Aquaman, Brightburn. That one is a very, very dark horror movie version of a Superman story. We have Shazam, the original. I won't be including Black Adam or Shazam Fury of the Gods. I won't be including Black Adam because I don't have it yet. And it is available to buy, but I don't have it yet. And for Fury of the Gods, Shazam 2, it's still in theaters and not released on physical media yet, and I haven't even seen it yet, so I'm gonna try and fix that on Monday. Joker, Birds of Prey, and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn movie is what I like to call it. Justice League's Snyder Cut. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad from 2021. Again, using a different format from my previous ranking. In a previous ranking, I used the DVD case, and that's the 4K case. The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Legion of Superheroes, an animated movie that came out this year, actually. Adventures in Babysitting from 1987. Adventures in Babysitting 2016 remake. The Invincible Iron Man, an animated movie. Hulk vs. Thor and Hulk vs. Wolverine, another animated movie that is split into two parts with the two different characters that he fights. Planet Hulk, another animated movie. League of Super Pets, another animated movie. The Punisher theatrical cut. The Punisher extended cut. Punisher Warzone. And I made a last minute switch yesterday that I wanted to exclude Avengers Confidential, Black Widow, and Punisher and use Big Hero 6 instead. So now that we've seen which movies are going to be covered in this ranking. Let's get into the ranking itself. For the ranking itself, we're going to go from my least favorite in 31st place to my favorite one in first place, and that will go as follows. In 31st place, or last place, is the theatrical cut of Justice League. Probably not a big shock, because the Snyder cut is exponentially better than this version, but it's a good time killer movie. If you have time to kill, put on the theatrical cut of Justice League. There you go. In 30th place is Supergirl, the movie. In 29th place is 2016's The Suicide Squad, or Suicide Squad, not The Suicide Squad. That's the James Gunn version, which is much better. More action, more mayhem, more fun. In 28th place is the theatrical cut of The Punisher with Thomas Jane as the titular character. In 27th place is going to be Planet Hulk. Sorry, I have these all off to the side, so I'm kind of awkwardly like reaching over and grabbing them instead of having them off to the other side on a desk. I have them on a bed. The bed right here. Then next is the Invincible Iron Man animated movie. That one's not a bad movie per se. It's the first animated Iron Man movie. It says so on the case. Starring in his first animated movie right on the bottom there. It's not a bad movie per se. I like it. Iron Man Rise of the Technovore more, but I don't have that one. I have this one. I do really like this movie though. So placing it low in this particular ranking doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means that there's a bunch of movies that in this ranking video that I like more. Okay, so next up after that one is the 2016 version of Adventures in Babysitting. This one's it's pretty good. It's inspired by the classic 80s version. Obviously, it's a remake, but I like the original one better. Yeah, here we go. Next up, I have these pulled up on a Word doc right next to me so I can not lose track of my thoughts and where I'm at, which I need to scroll this down a little bit to be able to see a little bit better. In 24th place is Superman 3 with Christopher Reeve. I already kind of covered my thoughts on the Superman movies fairly recently, for the Christopher Reeve continuity, so I don't really need to double down on that very much because I just did it like maybe a month ago or less. Month, maybe like 4 weeks or something like that ago. So next up where are we at? In 23rd place is Wonder Woman 84, or 1984, the second one. I mean, there was a lot of really cool moments in Wonder Woman 2. And the gold outfit that Wonder Woman has on for part of the movie looks amazing. I love it. It's so cool. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the movie though. That's why it's a bit lower on my ranking than um, than other than the other Wonder Woman movie is that we'll get to later down the road. But next up in 22nd place is going to be Hulk versus Wolverine and Hulk versus Thor. I count them as one unit since they're both Hulk versus. They just decided to make the Hulk versus Wolverine and Hulk versus Thor two separate storylines for the same movie, and they have different runtimes to correspond with each character that he goes up against. 37 minutes for Wolverine and 45 minutes for Thor. And Deadpool appears in the versus Wolverine, which is interesting. Both versus scenarios are PG-13 and animated. In 21st place is one that I had never seen until today, actually, and that is the extended cut for Thomas Jane's The Punisher, or Punisher 1, as I like to call it. And obviously, since I ranked this one higher up than the theatrical cut, I like the extended cut better. I could tell a few things that were different. With a 17-minute runtime difference, I would notice more things that were different than the theatrical version. So it wasn't as different as I thought it was going to be. Rounding out the bottom 12 movies is number 20 with the Harley Quinn movie. I already said the full title, and I said I'd call it the Harley Quinn movie. So the Harley Quinn movie is in 20th place. It was a pretty good movie, actually. I think to understand what's going on in the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie a little bit better, I would probably need to watch all the way through the Birds of Prey series from the early 2000s. It only had one season, similar to Constantine, but I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes of that, and then I got busy watching other things and I haven't revisited it in a really long time. So I wonder if watching through that would help this movie make a little bit more sense to me. But as is, that's where I'm going to put the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie. In 19th place is going to be Punisher Warzone. This one is quite a bit more brutal with the violence than than both cuts of the Thomas Jane version. This one does not star Thomas Jane. It stars Ray Stevenson, but he does a really good job actually, and so does Thomas Jane. I can see Thomas Jane portraying maybe just as a voice actor. Both I could see him in both the roles of Batman and Wolverine in an animated fashion. I'm not sure if visually, like as a live action actor, if he'd be able to pull off Wolverine, but live action he'd make a good Batman, really good Batman, I would think. He has like a deeper voice like you'd expect for Wolverine or Batman. That's why I say what I do about him. as those two roles. Scrolling down here a little bit more. In 18th place is Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. This movie opened the door for the Snyder cut of Justice League to be a thing. So this one's a little bit higher up on the ranking than a couple of the other Superman titles have been, the ones that we've mentioned to this point. In 17th place is going to be Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. And then, let's see here. In 16th place is the original 1987 version of Adventures in Babysitting. This one, it seemed like it had a lot more heart and character development than the 2016 version did. So I like this one more for that reason. Let's see. Scrolling down. In 15th place is The Batman with Robert Pattinson. I think once his second and third movies come out, as well as his TV show that he's rumored to have, I might like his version a bit better. I like he's off to a decent start here with the Batman, but it feels longer than it actually is, because as soon as one plot point seems to be resolved, it's replaced immediately by another one. And when I say a plot point being resolved, I'm thinking more along the lines of when it feels like it's about to end, it just keeps going. Let's see here. Next up is going to be Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. Like I said, the theatrical version's not going to be included in this particular ranking. But both versions will be ranked whenever I get around to continuing on with my Batman ranking, my live action Batman ranking. But for this video, only Ultimate Edition will be considered. In 13th place, that was 14th place for Batman v Superman. In 13th place is Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve, the 3-hour cut, this top one here. Now I can put a few of these away, I think. Yeah. I want to try and save a little bit of space here. Okay. In 12th place is going to be Man of Steel, introducing Henry Cavill as Superman. I think Henry Cavill was probably in a few other things before this, but this was my introduction to him, was as Superman. And I forgot my Blu-ray case for this is a little busted. That's okay. Okay. In 11th place is going to be Legion of Superheroes, the DC animated movie, from 2023, I think. I think it just came out this year. Yes, 2023. this one, I feel like with the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie, I feel like this one would make more sense to me if I had seen Legion of Superheroes, the TV show or the cartoon, the cartoon. It, um, because the only few characters from the Legion of Superheroes itself that I was actually aware of before seeing this movie were Supergirl, obviously, Brainiac 5, and Mon-El, because Mon-El appears, I think, in the second season of Supergirl um, in the Arrowverse. And so I was kind of familiar with his character a little bit from that. So I was excited to see him in an animated movie. But yeah. And hitting off the top 10 is number 10, which is Aquaman 1. Aquaman 2 isn't out yet, or I would probably include this if it were out on physical media. But yeah, Aquaman 1. I like seeing Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and I'm looking forward to Aquaman 2. I can't think of what the title for that one is, or what the exact title of that is, but I'm really looking forward to Aquaman 2 because I liked the first one quite a bit. Oops, I noticed I put something away prematurely. Oops, my bad. Okay, so I'll set these off to the side for right now. In ninth place is Shazam 1, the first Shazam movie. I don't really know what else or what all to say about Shazam other than it's kind of refreshing having a superhero that's genuinely stoked to be a superhero like Shazam is. Because when he's not all muscly and ripped like that, he's essentially a 12 or 13-year-old boy, I think. 12 or 13, something like that. And so he's like, I have powers! Woohoo! Getting all excited and stuff like that. In eighth place is Wonder Woman from 2017, Wonder Woman 1, in other words. I think that came out before Justice League, the theatrical cut. Okay. Trying to keep these in a specific order to make it easier to put them away when I'm done with this. So in seventh place is Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. He did a really good job actually as the Joker, and I look forward to potentially seeing him in a sequel if they decide to make Joker 2. Maybe that one could be a Joker-led movie where he's going up against Batman, but it's more paying attention to Joker instead of Batman. And let's see here. Scrolling down a little bit more on my Word doc here. In sixth place, this one might confuse a couple of people as to why I put it in sixth instead of higher up or closer to first place, and that is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad from 2021. The reason that might surprise a few people is because because I like that version a heck of a lot better than the Suicide Squad 2016 movie. Although I didn't thoroughly enjoy seeing Deadshot played by Will Smith in that version of the movie. But I do like this version better than that one, obviously. But it's not like top 5 or it's not top 3 or material to me. But I do thoroughly enjoy it. In 5th place is Big Hero 6. It's just a fun animated movie. It's based on Marvel Comics, which is why it's kind of included in a Marvel / DC 20 or 31 on 31. Plus Stan Lee appears in it, so there you go. Stan Lee cameo, in my mind, makes a Marvel property unless it's Teen Titans Go to the Movies. That one had a Stan Lee cameo that was it trying to put to rest the DC versus Marvel rivalry by when Stan Lee shows up a couple of times, and the first time he's like, one of the other characters is like, what are you doing here? This is a DC movie. And Stan Lee's like, what? This is a DC movie? I gotta get out of here. And then he shows up later and he's like, I don't care if this is a DC movie. I love cameos. So, yeah. That one I count as a Marvel / DC because of the Stan Lee cameos in it. In 4th place, oh wow, this is ironic. I just noticed how ironic this is. Superman 4 is in 4th place. The Quest for Peace. See the irony there? A movie with 4 in the title being in 4th place. Funny. Funny how things work out sometimes, isn't it? Okay. We've already covered this one. Okay. In 3rd place is going to be League of Super Pets. It was a really cute animated movie, and I liked hearing Dwayne Johnson as, I believe, Crypto the Superdog and Kevin Hart as Ace the Bat Hound. I believe that's how that casting worked out. I could be wrong. It could be the other way around. But anyway, I really liked that movie. I thought it was a cute, PG, family friendly, very family friendly animated DC movie. Great time, highly recommend it. Please check it out if you have not. Then in 2nd place, this one might surprise a few people as well. This one might be a surprise because it's not in 1st, it's in 2nd place. And that is Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, in other words. There's one movie left. See if you can figure it out here while I talk about the Snyder Cut. This version is a much longer, obviously, version than the theatrical cut of Justice League. It's a little more than double the runtime. The runtime of the theatrical cut of Justice League is exactly 2 hours. This version is 4 hours and 2 minutes. So it's a little bit more than 4 hours longer. And it showed us the Solar Suit Superman, which is iconic when Superman dies and comes back. He has to wear a solar suit to suck up as much yellow sun radiation as he can to rejuvenate himself completely. And that was not present in the theatrical version. He just went back to his original colors, the iconic red and blue Superman colors. Also, cut from the original version, and for no apparent reason other than it being more of a corporate product than a director's vision, is two things, or well, two characters: Martian Manhunter and Darkseid. Darkseid, I mean, come on. In Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, in one of the nightmare sequences, Batman sees an Omega sign burned into, I think, either Gotham or Metropolis or something, burned in somewhere. That symbol in the DC universe is very closely connected to Mr. Darkseid here. So they were teasing him in both cuts of the Batman v Superman movie, but he didn't show up in Justice League like we thought he would, and we finally got to see him in all his epicness in this version. So happy that he was finally shown, and I hope if they were to make a Justice League 2 that it would follow the events of the Snyder Cut and also include Darkseid more, because they didn't do a whole lot with him. Steppenwolf was still the main villain for the movie, like he was in the theatrical version, but but this one shows like kind of why he wasn't as a big bad guy like Loki was for the Avengers, because the Avengers or Justice League was trying to be a DC Avengers 1 level event. Didn't work so well. Anyway, finally, coming in number 1 is Brightburn. The well, here, I'll read what it says on the bottom of the thing here. I already said it's a very, very dark Superman movie. It's a dark twist on one of the most famous comic book tales of all time. And it is a horror movie. Horror violence, bloody images, and language is what it's rated R for. But it is an amazing movie. I mean, heck, it has to be amazing to have bumped the Snyder Cut to second place. And it's just a great dark version of Superman. And Brightburn, BB, that lines up with the Superman-esque character's name, which is Brandon Briers, or Brier. So it's either Brier or Briers, something like that. But he ends up doing a lot of really messed up stuff in this. Since it's a horror movie, he has to do some messed up stuff. The messed up stuff that I'm referring to that he does is after feeling betrayed by his by any character really, but more specifically, the characters he feels the most betrayed by are his love interest's mother, his aunt and uncle, and his parents. All 5 of those people end up getting horrendously murdered, along with a airline passenger jet with over 200 people on it, counting the pilot and co-pilot and the flight attendants. All of them get killed when they see him kill his mom, and I really want to see more to that of that character and see where a Brightburn 2 would take us, because the first one left me wanting more and wanting to know more about the character and where he goes after having slaughtered everyone in his path, essentially. Leaving his love interest with a broken wrist or something, but real mild injuries compared to everyone else that he pretty much kills everybody else. So yeah, that is my 31 on 31 for March. The reason I included Brightburn in a DC thing is because it's a very dark Superman story, and Superman is DC. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this ranking video, and I think I might have another one next month. Does April have 31 days? I'll have to check on that. In my next video, whatever it is, I'll confirm whether or not April has 31 days, because I don't have that month or tidbit memorized. So yeah, I'll be thinking about a ranking to do on the off, or a 31 on 31 on the off chance that there is one. And if there's not, I'll use it for the next month that does have 31 days. So yeah, that is all I have to say for this video, and I hope you enjoy the video. And if you haven't seen any of the movies, or if there's any of the movies from this that you haven't seen that I gave good comments to, or ones that I highly recommend to, like Brightburn, I would highly, highly recommend that. Then go ahead and check them out for yourself, and see you next time I make a video. Bye.